Peace family, I'm coming to you from the greenhouse. I promised I would do a small video about seedlings and how to take care of them. So I'm in the greenhouse, I'm taking care of them, so I wanted to show you guys a couple things. So in the greenhouse, I try to keep it warm. I actually have a heat mat that's for melting snow down here. So one thing is temperature. You don't have to have a heat mat, but for things like tomatoes and peppers, they really take a while to germinate, and especially if they don't have a heat mat. You can see every system I have in here waters from the bottom. This has a little container. I can lift this out and water in the bottom. So these could really sit out by themselves. They're kind of like mini greenhouses on their own. Or you can do something like this because we're in a greenhouse, and so it's going to be nice and warm in here. You can create your own. When I step out here, I will show you guys. If you can see, I have like Newly stuff I bought on Amazon, and then I also have recyclable stuff here. These are just from croissants that we purchased, and I just put the water in there, and then I reuse these. You can see I get these from H-E-B, from wherever I get plant starts from. I just save these and reuse them and just kind of clean them. So I have right now in here, all of those are different types of tomatoes. What's in here? I don't even know. I haven't looked yet. Toothache plant, some other stuff, basil, flowers. Okay, so real quick, because I'm running out of storage, I actually think I shouldn't have those tops on here in the greenhouse. I think it can make them too wet and drown my seedlings out. But other than that, everything else looks like it's doing good, and I can of course replant if these guys did die out. So I uncovered all of those because I think I saw some basil in this one the other day, and now I don't see them. So that makes me think maybe it was a little too hot in a greenhouse. But I like to water from the bottom. I like to plant more than one in each container, and then I'll separate them later when they get a little bit bigger. That's if they're this size. If they're that size, I do like 1 or 2 per cell because they might not all sprout. I like the heat mat, at least for the tomatoes and the peppers. Peppers take time to sprout, so be patient. Don't think that your stuff didn't sprout. Look at these. They were planted on the 4th of January. Today is the 18th, and they're just popping out. So be patient, and you can definitely recycle. You can definitely reuse. Try to have fluffy soil so the seeds don't have a hard time busting out of there, and I'll show you guys some things when I pop out of here as well. I like to recycle my jugs. Plant in there. These are also on heat mats though. The heat mats just speed the stuff up for me. The peppers, tomatoes especially, it gets kind of hot in the summertime where they don't want to produce anymore, and I like to get them nice and big and producing before that happens. You can see my zinnias have started sprouting in here, which is great. I'm growing those for the farmers market, so I like to also use these. And again, I'm watering from the bottom, trying to create an atmosphere, and don't let them dry out. Peace. Peace family, same topic, different day. I'm in the greenhouse again. This is the day after the snow, so the garden is thawing out. I'm in here making sure everything is watered, and I wanted to remind you guys, try to start with fluffy soil, because if you can see how small that is when it first pops out, it doesn't want to have to fight to come out of there. They start off real small. So you can grow in your own compost if you make your own compost at home. You know, you can even sift it out and get the big pieces out, or crumble it in your hands and make sure it's nice and crumbly. I like to mix cocoa coir with my own homemade compost, but either way, just make sure that it's something that is fluffy. They also have seed starting mix that you can purchase, and also potting mix that's fluffy but I don't think has a lot of nutrition in it, which is why I like to add my compost in, because that gives just a little bit of nutrition at the beginning of the life of these plants. So yeah, that's my tip. Make sure that you have fluffy soil. Another thing I want to mention, I think I told you guys last time, I took the tops off of these. The reason why is you can drown your seed. The seed can just like drown and never pop out, or it can pop out and then it can do what's called dampening off, which is like where the stem hits the soil will get too wet and it'll like pinch off and fall over. And so that's why I opened these up, so that the tops can dry out a little bit and it won't be too wet, because the greenhouse is already kind of wet. If you can see, the greenhouse is warm. Like, I'm sitting in here and it is warm, but outside it's only about, I think today is 42 degrees and I'm hot. I do have a onesie on, but it's hot in here. So yeah, that's another tip. Peace, family. So my next bit of advice about your seeds is just to keep an eye on them. A lot of seed packets will tell you how long it should take for them to germinate. Be patient, but still watch out for it, because I think I said earlier in this video, I think I might have drowned some of my seeds, and it's possible that I did do that, and let me show you. So my husband has some seeds planted in here, but see how I have all the holes all the way open? I didn't have them all the way open on these, and I think I showed before that I said, oh man, I might have drowned them. So I planted these on the 6th of January, and today is the 29th, the 30th, excuse me, today's the 30th. I do feel like that's kind of a long time when you compare, like, okay, these were planted on the 4th. I know hot peppers sometimes take longer, but you can see something sprouting out. Nothing is really sprouting out of any of these except for that one surviving basil, if you can see it right here. So I'm thinking of just planting a few more seeds in there because I don't want to get too behind. I can also show you, like over here, these have been planted after those. These were planted 2 days before those. Those are tomatoes though. So they are different kinds of plants, but because I already had concern about them and everybody else is sprouting, I think I'm just going to replant a little bit. I'm going to try not to disturb it too much. But anyway, I said all that to say some things take longer than others to germinate. But just keep an eye on it. If the time has passed and you don't see anything, it's okay to go ahead and replant. And then another thing is that you don't have to plant from seed. I'm learning to plant from seed because I feel like it's more sustainable. I feel like it costs less, and I feel like I'm able to find different types of food that you don't get in the store, and that you don't get plant starts of. I think even plant starts sometimes can be all the same kind or very similar kinds in different places, but you can find such like exotic foods to grow if you start learning to grow from seed. So yeah, let me replant these seeds. It's getting dark, if y'all can see. Oh, and I did want to say one other thing too. I'm going to step out because today it was like 10 degrees. So this has been open, not 70 something, it was 70. This has been open all day because I do want to let a little bit of wind, you know what I'm saying, get through here. Let my seedlings kind of get stronger next and like blow a little bit. Let some airflow get in here, and then I just close it up. I just make sure that I keep it closed. If it's too cold for them, I let the heat build up in here, and it's doing well so far. I'm very excited about these tomatoes especially. So if you're growing indoors, then you can also have a fan or something like that, just to kind of like, or there's this one girl I watch, Jess, and she just likes to go like this over her seedlings sometimes, just to kind of make their stems a little strong. I've never done that before, but it's very adorable. So anyway, I'll see y'all soon. Peace. Okay, family, so let's try to finish this video with some organized thoughts. My tips for starting your seeds is looking up the seed or the plant either from the seed packet, or you can look online for when you should start the seed. When do they suggest you start the seed? And don't think you're late if you've already passed that time, go ahead and try, because especially if you have a long growing season, it's just a suggestion. You can still grow and get a harvest if you start over. There's nothing wrong with starting over. Start over and over again. Always keep dropping seeds and keep trying so you can keep learning. Try to have a fluffy soil. Just make sure the seeds don't have to break up out of there. Remember that some seeds need lighting, and that's why I said to learn about the different seed or the plant. So what you want to learn is, does it need light to germinate? How long does it take to germinate? So you won't think, oh man, it's been 4 days and it's supposed to take like 14 days, you know, and you're like, oh, they haven't sprouted yet. So just things like that. Things that you want to kind of know is like your average or your estimated frost date, because that's when you know you'll be able to move them outside comfortably. And remember that that's just an estimate anyway. You still kind of have to look out. Maybe if you plant them outside, you have ways that you can cover them up in case it gets cold. But just to make sure that your plants are well taken care of until they can go outside, whether that's indoors, whether that's in a greenhouse, whether you plant them outside and you just like to cover them up when it gets cold, that's perfectly fine. Some seeds prefer to be direct sown. I direct sow my celery, I direct sow my carrots, I direct sow root veggies because they're roots and I don't really want to mess with them getting moved. But I have seen people successfully move those types of things. So really you just start so that you can learn and find your own way of doing these things. I tend to start planting the smaller seeds first. That's your peppers and your tomatoes and stuff, that start the things that need heat and that take longer to germinate. Also, flowers have smaller seeds. Some flowers need light to germinate. Some things need cold stratification. I have some snapdragons that just sprouted this year that I planted last year, and I cold stratified them and then planted them. I thought they didn't come up. They didn't come up until this year. And so, you know, just keep on trying and learning and growing and sharing. And every year you will have more successful seedlings. And then if you don't have any successful seedlings, partner with people. Find other gardeners who grew a few more tomatoes than they needed. Or find your favorite botanic garden that you can go shop at. Or a nursery, a local nursery that you would like to shop at. And go ahead and patronize those small businesses. Go ahead and make those connections so that you can still grow your food. If you feel like you don't have the time to grow your food, connect to a farmer or a gardener near you where you can support what they're doing on their land. And you can also have a direct source to healthy organic food. That's pretty much what my farmers market is about that's coming up. And so I'm just excited to talk about it and encourage you guys. So I hope this video helped someone. Please comment below. Put your seed starting tips below. Oh, there's another thing I wanted to say. I like to water from the bottom, but I see a bunch of people use spray bottles and they water from the top. So that's also an option for you. And also, if you don't have a greenhouse or a mini greenhouse, I see people use saran wrap and cover their seedling trays until they pop out. Kind of keep that humidity going within there. So hopefully there's some tidbits in this video that helped you out. I thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you to all my new subscribers. Thank you to all my old subscribers. I absolutely love you guys, and I can't wait to see what we all grow together in 2025. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.